Hi, my name is Marcos. I'm a deaf actor, and you can follow me on Instagram at janmarcosofficial. And the Keith Andrew Network is a great way to connect with people who are going through the same thing as we are. And he is a fabulous guy learning a lot about the industry. So please go follow him on YouTube. Go ahead.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Tony DeMille. I'm an actor. You can find me on Chicago PD and Tyler Perry's Sisters, as well as Manhunt on Netflix. I had a great time being interviewed by Keith Andrew. He's a great guy, and I love the fact he's trying to bring people together.
It's Theo Ramirez, and you can find me on Instagram at theatheactress. And I just got interviewed by the Keith Andrew Network, and it was fun. I'm really glad that he's a great host, and you should definitely watch his YouTube channel.
Welcome to the Keith Andrew Network. It is Season 8, Episode 789. I'm here with professional actress Theo Ramirez. That's why I'm here is Theo Ramirez. Also, we have professional actor Tony Demo. We're here as Tony Demo. Tony Demo has been an actor on Chicago PD. So make sure to like and check out his work. Also, we have with one more guest. Last but not least, we have professional actor Dan Marcos. We have 3 of the big stars, upcoming stars in the entertainment world right here on the Keith Andrew Network. We're going to start off the show with my announcement. Thank you for watching. Let's jump right into it. Before we get started, I want to start off with the announcement of the Keith Andrew Network. What is the Keith Andrew Network in the X? The whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. Now, let me do that again. That was pretty bad. The whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. At the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. To prove to them and can stem out to something. So hashtag break the labels. So that being said, I'm going to start off as Tony. You've been on the show before. Don't worry. The new feature is I'm going to play our old episode in the background on a new feature I have. It's really cool. You've been on the show before. We have 2 newcomers. So you're the expert, the veteran who's been on my program before. And I want to start off with you.
Okay.
But I do want to say one thing that I recently found out. You were actually on Chicago PD.
Chicago PD, yeah. It just aired about 2 weeks ago Wednesday, or maybe a week ago Wednesday. 2 weeks ago, something like that.
No, I'm so happy for you.
I'm happy for me too. Thank you.
So what can you tell us about that?
Well, it was a really fun character, and it was a great casting crew. Everybody on the show is like really cool. All the series regulars and stuff like that, they're super committed and passionate to to the product. And I think that's what makes it a good show. And I think just the editing and the lighting and the direction, like, it came out really good, I thought. I was really impressed.
No, absolutely. And Chicago has some of the hit shows, Chicago PD, Chicago Fire, Chicago Med. Mm-hmm. Have you ever wanted to be on Fire? Now it sounds like a stupid question, but have you ever wanted to be on Fire or Med?
I definitely don't want to be on Fire. But I wouldn't mind being on a TV show. So how it works is basically like they fit you in one of the 3 shows. And so I had an audition last year for where I was almost on Fire, Chicago Fire, but it didn't work out for that role. So once you're on one of the shows, you can't be on either one of the other shows for 2 years because they're so closely connected. So that's kind of how that works. But I'll be on any TV show that pays me to be there and act.
Well, let me ask you this, because you bring up an interesting point. I didn't know there was a 2-year open window. Say you're on Chicago PD and there's a crossover episode. Now, can you be a part of Fire if there's a crossover, or you still have to wait 2 years?
Ooh, that would be interesting. I was hoping, it's funny because when I was reading the script for my character, I was just like, oh man, this guy could be in like the whole season and this and this and that. I'm hyping myself up about it. And I died. And not just like one bullet where I might go to the hospital, like 10 bullets. So I was just like, I'm not going to be in the sequel.
So kind of like in real life.
Yeah.
I know, bad joke.
Yeah, exactly. Real life.
But seriously, like not to talk about politics or news, if you're chasing a bad guy, you shoot him in a leg or an arm. You don't have to shoot him 10 times. It's like, unless you don't know how to count. But then it's kind of like,
well,
hey,
the problem is if somebody has a gun and they just shot somebody, they're a danger and a threat to everybody around them. So it's all well and good to shoot somebody in the leg, and I'm sure trained officers can do that. But like when someone has a gun, you know what I mean? You got to stop them. Unfortunately, I mean, I'm a big proponent of non-lethal force. But I'm not a cop. It's really easy to talk from the outside about what they should do and shouldn't do. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely. If someone comes at you with a weapon, you have every right to defend yourself necessary. Someone breaks into my house, I have every right to defend myself necessary. But
police officers have a really hard job, and it's easy to judge them from the outside. I don't mean that there's not some terrible things that happen and those officers should be punished, but in general, they're put in situations that they have to make split-second decisions that are very intense. And, time operates differently when you're being rushed with adrenaline and maybe you don't think straight. It's like really difficult. It's like being in war, like every day. All of a sudden you're like rescuing a cat and then you're like in war. So they have a very difficult job, No,
absolutely. Now, one more question, and then we're going to do something fun because we have 2 other people here with us. They're going to have the chance to interact with you guys. So when I talk to you, we're going to chime in box 1. And when we talk to box 2, both of you get to interact with her. So we're going to do a different format. But the last question I want to ask you is, what was your role on Chicago PD and how did you get it?
Well, I'll start with how I got it. I've been working in this business for 21 years. And so I have an agent and a manager. And they reach out to me and they send me an audition and say, hey, tape for this. And you just submit your audition and the casting director's like, yep, that's the one. The director's like, yep, that's the one. The writer's like, yep, that's the one. So, but the cool thing about Chicago PD for me was even to get a role of this size, it was what's known as like a top of show guest star. Even just to get the audition, you have to be pretty far along in your career. So it was exciting in that way. And then to book it was just, that's like 10 yeses. You know what I mean? There's like 10 people who said, yes, I want that person. So that felt really good. And it was just a really cool role. It was like a crime lord, basically like the head honcho in a meth ring. And he was moving into Chicago from Indiana. And he was bringing his business there and basically wiping out the competition. So it was really fun. It's really fun playing bad guys.
Absolutely. Get away with some more things.
Yeah.
Well, and then next thing we do, before we go to box 2, I want you guys, do any of you have any questions for my friend Tony?
Nothing yet.
No, but that's really cool that you were on that TV show.
Thanks. Sorry for the spoiler, but
So now
I die.
So now we're going to go to box 2 for the newcomers. The first question I want to ask you, and Tony, we already know each other, so I didn't ask you this one. So going to box 2, tell our audience a little bit about yourself and how you feel about being on the KeithAndrewNetwork for the first time.
Oh, okay. Well, hi, my name's Theo Ramirez, and I'm an Asian American actress, like becoming one. And I'm pretty excited to be here. I've never been asked to be interviewed outside of my hometown, which is in Seattle, Washington. And I'm primarily a musical theater actress in this area, but I'm looking to branch out into film and voice work.
No, absolutely. You now go to box 3. Same exact question for you.
So yes, my name is Jan Marcos. I'm from Boca Raton, Florida. I recently started acting about a year and a half ago. I've always wanted to do it, but I never took it to the professional level. It was always a hobby of mine. I do have an agent and manager, and I'm looking to branch out to wherever the career takes me. So I'm taking it step by step along the way.
No, absolutely. Now, going back to box number one, this question's for you.
Yes.
What can you tell us about social media? Everything that you accomplish. Can social media make you or break you? This is a question for all of you, so pay attention to this one in details. So, with social media that can make you or break you, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, are you saying that you're thankful that if it wasn't for these websites, I wouldn't be where I am today? Or do you think if I sneeze the wrong way, it can just ruin whatever I'm working on?
Wow. There's a ghost someone talking. Jan, first of all, and Thea, that's so awesome that you guys are actors. That's so great. I love actors. It's such a great thing. And Jan, I'm from Florida too. I grew up in Orlando, and I live down in Boynton Beach.
Okay, that's where I'm at now. I just moved out of Boca, so I'm in Boynton now.
Okay.
That's
My
so
sister
cool.
and her kids live there. What do you?
Small world.
Who's your agent? Yeah, who's your agent?
My commercial agent is Betty's Talent Group in
Okay.
Hollywood. And then I have my theatrical agent in Atlanta at Line Stars Agency.
Oh my God, Align Stars. Yes. They just switched ownership. They were owned before by two of my good friends. Did you know
Small
Andrea
world.
and Patrick? Did you know Andrea and Patrick?
I don't think so.
Hey, congratulations on getting an Atlanta agent. It's really challenging.
Thank you.
So back to the question. I think social media and the internet in general is a powerful tool. I don't know how people were actors back in the day where you had to like drive by the studio and pick up a script and learn it. And then, you know what I mean? It's so easy. You can get an audition from Seattle, and in 4 hours, you can have it turned around and sent to the casting director. Lighting, everything, like acting and whatnot. So I think the internet's a very powerful tool. And then social media, look, you can go on TikTok and become, if let's say you like to do voices and comedic. I don't know for dramatic actors, how much of a leg up you can have. I mean, I guess you could go and do monologues. I feel like that would be a little corny. It's a little better for like comedic actors or singers or just personalities who want to become famous on the internet. For actors, I just think it's a great way to connect. You can go and put hashtag Seattle Film and just figure out everybody and follow the hashtag, and everybody who posts something with Seattle Film, you can follow that and expand your network, because at the end of the day, as an artist, it's about making connections and meeting people and expanding your web of influence, meaning like not like pay attention to me, but more like, oh man, I know this guy Jan who works in South Florida, he'd be perfect for this role. We all do that all the time because if I get booked on a project, and I'm sure if you guys get booked on a project and something comes up where you can hook up two of your friends, you know what I mean? So I think in that way, I also don't think, the pitfalls of social media until you're like at a point where you're like the woman from Star Wars. But I do think in general, you can't be going on the internet saying crazy things. Like I've definitely said some crazy things about our past administration and super conservative Republican senators on Twitter, but it's not anything that the 10 comments below me didn't say. So I'm just like, when I get to a point where I'm a big star, I'm going to be like, cool, let me find a nice way of saying this. But there's plenty of stars who don't do that. There are plenty of stars who just like, you're worthless as a politician. You do not represent your people and you need to go, So that's
you're right. You're absolutely right. I made some comments about Trump, and first off, he is a dictator and he is an asshole. Not to talk about politics or anything, but that's my honest opinion.
Sure.
But going over to box two, same exact question. Social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Do you give thanks for the opportunity that these have created for you, or do you think that you have reached your goals without it?
Social media is a great tool, especially for artists, because you can share yourself. And I have gotten DMs from people to do like try out like reading a script, or like from sketchy agents and stuff that I'm not sure if I trust yet, because there are scams out there, so you got to be careful of that. But I have gotten opportunities through social media to audition for things like Netflix or like other networks, because without social media, I wouldn't have noticed those opportunities. And plus, you can make a lot of connections, like Tony said. And I wouldn't be on this talk show if it wasn't for me having an Instagram. It's a very helpful tool if you use it correctly.
No, I agree. Go ahead.
Can I just jump in real quick? You know what, Thea, you reminded me of something. I booked 7 episodes on Bloodline. I was like young Robert Rayburn on the network show, the Netflix show, excuse me. And the casting director posted somebody, because it was such a specific role. They were like, hey, we need somebody who looks like, the name of the actor is evading me right now, forgive me. But who looks like him at 20 years old, which is a very specific request, who can do this and who can do this and who can do this. And, that was a big paycheck, and I got that through social media.
No, I agree. Betsy, I'm going to hold on to my part after we hear from box number 3.
Yeah, I absolutely think social media plays a big role in making connections, networking. I actually booked a role about a month and a half ago through Instagram from somebody that just merely looked on my page and reached out to me, and she's like, I want you in my episode. And like, there was not even an audition. She just she saw my looks, my personality, the way I present myself on Instagram, and that's exactly what she wanted. And obviously we had a meeting about it, but I got the role because of that. And if it wasn't for me branding myself the way I do on my Instagram, I wouldn't have gotten that. So it does play a huge role in trying to network out there. But you also do want to use it right. I do try to stay away from political posts, because that can get very like a double-edged sword kind of thing. I'm all for freedom of speech and express what you want. Don't get me wrong. But I think that especially in my opinion, at a newcomer level, and like an actress trying to make it, it could make or break you. But at an actress who is well known already, it might not hurt them so much, from what I feel, because they're already up there. They attain that status. There's so much. They have so much support already. So at least in the beginning, I kind of stay away from that stuff. So, but yeah, absolutely. You definitely need to use it to your advantage, but it is just one tool. It's not, don't use that as your main tool. So that we know.
Oh, absolutely.
I agree. And do you mind if I just piggyback on what Jan said?
Go ahead.
So good. I liked what you said about politics. I think you do have to be careful. Some people will add me on Facebook, and I'll look at their Facebook and I'm just like, I added this woman yesterday. I'm just like, against my better judgment, because she posts things that I think are inflammatory. As far as we're on the different sides of the aisle politically. I think there's a way of saying, so when I say things is when I'm just like, I have to say this for the good of humanity. I'm not just going to go on Facebook and trash Biden or trash whomever. I'm not defending myself. I'm just talking about my personal philosophy. But so I think, being an actor allows me the foresight to be like, hey, let me be a little bit thoughtful about how I use my voice. So I think that's really smart. Secondly, I love Thea and Jan, how you guys, the emojis look really good in your on your Instagrams. Putting those in the description of yourselves, I'm just like, I'm gonna steal that. I'm gonna put some emojis up there. It really makes it pop a little bit more.
Thank you.
Yeah, I saw that on like an online class on how to format your Instagram for acting to make it look more appealing to people. So
it works. Yeah, it works.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna add on to that, like, consistency with your branding and your social media is also another great way to like market yourself. Because if you don't have consistency, people can't really tell like who you are or what you like or your personality, stuff like that. So that's also another great tool to use.
No, absolutely. Now, while we're on the subject of social media, we're going to start with box number 1. How can our listeners and fans follow you on social media?
So my favorite way to be followed now is on Instagram. I can't stand Facebook anymore. I only have it because I have so many followers on Facebook that, not followers, I don't like to say it like that. I have so many connections on Facebook, and like basically Facebook now is the LinkedIn for actors, in my opinion. So you kind of still have to have it. But like, if I were not an actor, I would get rid of Facebook today. At tonydmafia on Instagram, TONYD and then Mafia. It's a shout out to my Italian roots. Yeah.
No, I agree with you. I have 2 Facebooks. Everyone can follow me on Twitter, KeithAndrew88, Instagram, KeithAndrewNetwork, YouTube, KeithAndrewNetwork, #KeithAndrewNetwork. And I've been trying, I have my main one for everyone who I interviewed. Like, I will definitely send you guys an invite, Tony. I know you're already there. But I have my main one. But then I have a throwaway one where I just randomly add random people and introduce myself. But I was thinking, there's so many other ways to do that. Instagram, Twitter. You really don't need Facebook. But every time I delete Facebook off my phone, somehow it like pulls me back in. There's obviously a reason. Like, I was promoting all episodes. I'm like, okay, I need this person's picture. Crap, I have to go back to Facebook.
Sure.
There's always something that brings me back to it. But we're going to box number 2. How can they follow you on social media? Get in touch.
I have an Instagram account at theatheactress. And and also I have a backstage account for acting. It's under my name, Theo Ramirez, and I have a YouTube channel if you want to check that out. It's also Thea the Actress, but I don't just make acting related videos. It's more like just like random vlogs and stuff. So yeah, but if you would like to reach me, Instagram DM's a great place and we can go from there.
Absolutely. Box number 3.
So if you follow me at janmarcosofficial, that's where I do most of my activity, everything that's going on in my life. I'm posted through there. My Facebook, I would say the same. It's more my LinkedIn page, just more of just like connections for me that I reach out to from time to time. I really don't post anything on there. Sometimes my Instagram is attached to that, so it might put posts through there. But other than that, I don't use Facebook. But you can find me there on as well, just under Jan Marcos. I do also have a backstage under the same name as well, Jan Marcos, for my bookings if you want to go there.
It's funny you should mention backstage. I actually recently signed up. I went through the whole list, like, okay, I like this person, I like that one. And it's been almost a month. I never heard back. So I kind of lost interest. But then you have to pay to get more features. I'm like, I'm not paying social media to network. There's hundreds of free software you can use. You don't have to pay someone just to use it.
100%.
So go ahead.
I was just going to ask a question for Thea and Jan, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
So let me ask you a question. So Jan, on your Instagram, you identify as deaf, and Thea as, it's basically a question for both you guys in a different way. And being an Asian American actress and being a performer who identifies as deaf, how does that affect and add to like the struggle and also the journey of your careers? Is that okay if I ask that, Keith?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I'm curious, because we all have our different.
That's funny. I was going to say that, but we're getting short on time.
Okay.
But yes.
I'll go first. Well, I feel like I started later in the game than most people because I am a first generation Asian American actress. And so like my parents weren't really like into the whole acting thing. So I feel like I had a very rough start But
Yeah.
I took myself to them first, and now I'm currently working on myself, and I'm 16 years old.
Okay.
And I have to do a lot of the things by myself, like writing my resume, answering emails, sometimes filming my own auditions with like a friend on Skype and stuff. So I'm very much a lone wolf when it comes to acting. But I'm glad that I have their support now. And it is a struggle to get casting calls that specifically call for Southeast Asian actors because I'm Filipino.
Okay.
And I would just like to, because I can't exactly play East Asian, which is most of the casting calls nowadays. So I hope in the future that that's more of like a thing where cast. So yeah, but
Cool.
we're cruising. We're cruising.
Good. Well, let me know if I can ever help you in any way. If you have any questions, just reach out to me on Instagram. And yeah, totally. Jan?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's definitely been a struggle with me identifying as deaf. I've gone through lots of stigmas in my life and the way people view me. So with as far as acting related is concerned, you know, in the beginning, I learned a lot in the community, the deaf community, how I identify and how I identify that in the acting. It's hard. There's a lot of diversity going on in the industry, but there's still a lot of pushback in the sense that people view us in a certain way, whether it's a disability, race, orientation, doesn't matter what it is. But with my disability, people automatically assume, okay, he's deaf, so he can only do a certain kind of thing if he comes on to our show. So, for example, I grew up orally. That's the way my parents taught me. I didn't learn sign language when I grew up. So when I tell people I identify as deaf, on TV, that helps to change that narrative. But yeah, it is still a struggle. Little by little, I'm getting there.
Now, I do have a couple questions for you guys off the air, but wrapping up, it was a real honor and privilege having you guys on the show. I really appreciate the opportunity. Our fans and listeners, we'll see on the bottom of the screens all four our Instagram names, so you guys can interact. That's why I like doing group interviews. It's about bringing people together. Our listeners out there can make sure to see more of the Keith Andrew Network and a great contact. Go to the KeithAndrewNetwork.com, Keith Andrew Network on all social media. So I do have a couple questions off the air. But wrapping up our interview, it was an honor and privilege. Thank you for being with us.
Hi, it's Mimi Chen.
Hi, my name is Ellen Dorsch.
It's Shauna Todd.
Hey guys, I'm Anastasia Edwards.
Hi, this is Jackie Nunez.
Hi, I'm Millie Rose.
There, I'm Tatiana.
Hey guys, I'm Alexandria Denise, and you're watching Keith Andrew's show. He's doing a terrific job. Make sure you like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more awesome.